City Power has apologised to Johannesburg customers for the confusion over the new blackout schedules. The utility took over power cut operations from Eskom yesterday, and this left residents confused about the schedule in their areas, especially in the northern suburbs. But meanwhile, the utility says severe thunderstorms and flooding predicted for today could hamper their efforts to respond to power outages on time. Well, City Power spokesperson Isaac Mangena joins us now via Zoom to take this conversation forward. And Isaac, thank you for your time. Hopefully you're keeping warm where you are in this rainy conditions, and it's particularly for this reason that you're saying that operations that were due for today might be hampered.
Thanks for having us. Good morning, and good morning to the viewers at home. Yes, we normally during this kind of inclement weather condition and rain, we often have a situation where our resources are stretched to the limit because of the demand of electricity that is going high. Everyone wants to keep warm, and as such, you find that we've got issues in terms of the response due to the flooded roads, but also the working in the rain. You'll know that it's difficult to work with electricity in the rain. The trenches are flooded sometimes. So we are basically playing with caution here, and we have put in resources in all of our service delivery centers across the city to ensure that they respond adequately to this weather condition and ensure that they keep the lights on.
In as much as the pressure that you referred to is concerned and the demand, I mean, how many calls have you received so far, just in as far as outages are concerned?
So I think because of the maintenance regime that we have embarked upon as City Power in the past, we have experienced a small number of outage calls this morning when we woke up. We're sitting at just over 2,500 outage calls, but that was obviously before the rain started, and we're expecting that might spike with the rain, but also with the stages of load shedding, not knowing which stage we might go to in the evening. But we are expecting that those numbers may increase as more and more people are starting to try and warm up their homes and use electricity. So we are putting all the measures in place in every area that we're operating in to ensure that we deal with this. But this morning, we were dealing with just over 2,500 outage calls. Most of those are in areas such as Joburg, Rembek, and even Hestel.
Yeah. And it also sounds to me like you're also depending here, Isaac, on the consumption of electricity by residents. How of a long way does that go when electricity is used sparingly?
Look, I think, and I'm not talking here only during this kind of weather, but also even during load shedding, we may possibly not even load shed the residents if they were to do just small things like unplugging high power using equipment or appliances such as geysers and even pool pumps, and also ensuring that when electricity is off, just to ease it in when we do the restoration process. So it is that behavior change from residents that will basically ensure that we are able to save the megawatts that Eskom is looking for, and we won't have to go to higher stages of load shedding. And I think even other colleagues, including in Eskom, have been advocating and creating awareness around the importance of customers coming to party, ensuring that when they are not home, they switch off the lights, they unplug any of the appliances that are still plugged on the wall, because the overcurrency happens when we restore electricity, and it happens because of the power that the appliances are draining all at once at the same time. And that's why often you find that when we restore electricity, whether after load shedding or after any outage that we're dealing with, it trips because of that shock that happens when it basically comes back on. So it is those kind of small behavior change by our residents that can actually go a long way in ensuring that we don't encounter problems as we anticipate.
But also, speaking of Eskom, I understand that there were some concerns here raised by some residents about a confusion with regards to the load shedding schedule. Take me through what exactly happened and what measures you're taking to rectify this.
So yes, we basically, obviously, we expected some teething problems when we on board this new load shedding schedule. I think apart from some of the shocks that happened, it is something that is really good that should be celebrated by the residents of the city of Johannesburg. In fact, most of those that we have spoken to have actually applauded this because of they're starting to see some level of changes in terms of the frequency of load shedding on their lives. However, obviously with the issue of transitioning from midnight when we moved into the new load shedding schedule, there were some shocks that basically happened during that process, and only two blocks were affected by this problem, and mostly it was affecting those areas in the northern suburbs around Randburg and also northwestern areas around when you're moving towards Honeydew and Roodepoort. But the team has been working since yesterday to try and ensure that they deal with that. It has something to do with the technical complexities that happened when you move from one block to the next. But as I mentioned, we've got about 16 blocks in the city of Johannesburg. Only two of those in the northern suburbs were affected. But the rest of the residents within the city of Johannesburg are not having any problems in terms of the load shedding schedules. They are receiving the 2 hours that we have promised instead of the 4, which we have completely eliminated until stage 8. They are also not load shed more than twice in 2 to 3 days. So if you have been load shed today, chances are tomorrow, especially during load stages 1 to 3, you are not going to be load shed until the 3rd day. So you still have enough time to basically have electricity on you. And also we are not load shedding people at the same time for 2 to 3 consecutive days. Currently, in the past, we used to have you load shed between 6 and 8 today, and tomorrow it's still 6 and 8, and it basically created chaos in terms of your planning your life, especially the business customers that have to hire, people to do some work.
Yeah. So in terms of rectifying the error that occurred, when exactly will it be rectified? Has it been done already? Are you saying that from now on all the blocks should expect a well orchestrated schedule, or you're still fixing the problem?
Our technical teams have been on this since yesterday when we picked some of these errors yesterday morning, and they've been working on it. And I think there is a movement in terms of resolving that to those blocks that I've already mentioned. But they haven't actually reached a point where it's stable. They are currently. I was just talking to the leader or manager, some person who's managing that team, to check if they have already completed that algorithm resetting and so forth, so that the residents can actually be protected from this load shedding. But I think by this evening they should have completed that, and the residents should start to see the difference and changes.
Right, we'll leave it there. Isaac Mangena, thank you so much for bringing this clarity to us right here on Newslink. Isaac Mangena, spokesperson for City Power.